lovely people, and welcome to my channel Bella's Journey. I'm a mum of one who's 47 years old and living in Germany. I've been on antidepressants for 21 years and I've been trying to come off them for the last 2. I started this channel because when doctors first give you antidepressants, they don't tell you how difficult it is to come off them if you have been on them for a very long time. So they don't explain how to come off antidepressants safely, and they actually proceed to give you wrong advice and tell you to come off them way too fast, which is really dangerous. This made me so mad that I started this channel. Now, what you have to know is that when you take antidepressants, they alter your brain in a way that makes it easier to absorb these drugs, and reversing this effect takes a long time. This is why up to 56% of people have withdrawal symptoms when they come off too fast. Half of those patients have quite severe symptoms, which can include headaches, nausea, anxiety, brain zaps, and many more. And many people describe them as being worse than the symptoms that made them take those antidepressants in the first place. So they then seek help from their doctors, only to be told that it's their depression that has come back. Unfortunately, that is often not the case. These prescribers have been told by manufacturers for decades that there is no such thing as withdrawal symptoms, or that they are very mild and go away quickly. And that's what they tell their patients. So these people are stuck in a vicious cycle where they feel that they don't need their antidepressants any longer, so they come off them very fast and then develop horrible physical and psychological symptoms. They don't know what else to do other than to go back on them, quite often trying several times unsuccessfully. So this is what has happened to me as well, and this is why I would love to talk to you about how to come off antidepressants safely. If you've tried it before and had a bad experience, don't despair. It is possible. It just takes a lot of time and some effort, as the brain needs to cope with the smaller doses. Now, it's best to start your taper when you're feeling stable and healthy. Maybe don't start in winter or when you're going through a stressful time. Do speak to your prescriber. He or she might be more supportive and knowledgeable than you think. If they're not, go and see someone else if you can. Whatever you do, do not go on this journey alone, and do not just skip meds from one day to the next. Now, experience from other sufferers has shown that it's best to reduce your meds in 10% steps and holding this dose for 4 to 6 weeks. You may reduce those steps to 5% and hold the dose longer if you wish, according to how you feel. Now imagine this withdrawal journey like going down some steps. You go down the first small step, stay on it as long as you feel the need to, and then when you're ready, you go down the next step. You wait and see, and so on. If you've taken your antidepressants for up to 3 months, you might be able to reduce them by more than 10%, but you shouldn't reduce too fast nor too slow, as the body might get used to the medication. So it's best to try and see how you feel while you reduce the dose. If you've been on your medication for more than 3 months, it's best to use the 10% rule. You can do this until you get to quite a small dose. This is when it gets difficult again. I will explain how to manage that in another video. Now, if you haven't been taking your antidepressants for that long, here are some guidelines for you. If you're stopping the meds after having taken them only for 5 days, you can usually just skip them. If you have, however, been taking them between 5 and 10 days, you can halve them for 2 to 3 days and then stop them. If you have been taking them between 10 and 28 days, you reduce the dose by 25% each week for 4 weeks and then stop. I started my journey 2 years ago, and it's been so long because I'm not only on an antidepressant, Venlafaxine or Effexor, but also on a mood stabilizer, which makes this even harder and longer. This time around, I have been more or less fine until now, when I reached 62.5 milligrams. Then I too started having some real problems. So you may be asking yourself, well, 10% sounds nice and all, but these small doses aren't available. And you're absolutely right, that is the core of the problem that we're left with. That's why we need to make our own doses and come up with a plan and gather specific gear. The different taper methods are diluting your tablet in water and taking some liquid off, which I cover in a later video, switching to manufacturer's liquid, which may not be available for all kinds of antidepressants. using scales to reduce your meds, and finally there's bead counting, which I will explain using Effexor Venlafaxine now. Hello guys, welcome to my tutorial on bead counting of Effexor Venlafaxine when you're trying to reduce slowly. So first of all, let me talk to you about this capsule. It contains 75 milligrams of Venlafaxine Effexor. You can open it by slightly twisting, not too much pressure, and voila, it is open. And here you have a small amount of beads or pellets, and each of them contains 12.5 milligrams of Venlafaxine. I reduced using this method successfully from 150 milligrams up to 62.5 milligrams, and that's when it started to really suck. So the problem here is that obviously you always, if you take one bead out once a month, say, you can't really reduce in very small doses, and when you get to the smaller doses it will get quite difficult, and you may experience really bad withdrawal symptoms, which is what happened to me. So I can recommend this method when you are in the upper doses without any problem, but once you get to a lower dosage, it will most probably cause a problem for you. So let me talk to you about the other possibility, which is a capsule that contains over 200 tiny beads. I really have to make sure that I don't break this capsule. This is really very sensitive. I already broke 2 of those, and here we have the 200 beads. Now this is good because you can reduce in really small steps. The problem is that they're so tiny, these beads, that they really suck. What I do is I count in 2s and reduce the amount that I want to reduce, and then I put the rest back into the capsule. And what is really nice is that you can push down the bottom and you can hoover them up just like so, and it works really nicely. Now I don't throw the beads that I take out away, because now and then here in Germany we have a shortage of supply. So what I do is the ones that I don't use I put in here, and then if there ever is another shortage of supply, I will just buy myself some empty capsules and take those. And what I found to be really helpful is these bead mats. This is the ones that I bought off the richest man of the planet, Amazon. The brand is called Bead, and I got 3 mats for the price of 14 euros, I think. And they're really cool because if you try to pour those beads onto a table, they are literally everywhere, and it's horrific. So I really do recommend those bead mats because it keeps them where they're supposed to be. And I found that separating them with a nail file, it works really nicely. Although I have to say that sometimes they get stuck here and you have to pull them off again. And then what I do is, when I'm done, I always prepare a dose of 14. I put them in here. I write down the amount of milligrams, how many beads, what step it is. And then what I do is I have these scales that I also bought off Amazon. And the problem here is that you can only tell that there's some weight on it when you put 9 beads on them. So what I do is I actually control right at the end whether I've got the right amount in each capsule. should be around 200, that's right. So, and I do that with all of them because it's really, really difficult with these little suckers not to miscalculate. And yeah, that works quite well for me. So what I did was I calculated my tapering steps. I hope you can read this. I don't know why, but it always comes out really small when I print it. The problem with these small beads is that not every capsule contains the same amount of beads. Unfortunately, it contains between 216 and 190 beads. So what I did was I worked out an average of about 200, and I worked with that. And I worked out that each bead equals roughly 0.375 milligrams. And here you can see my steps. I'm currently at step 2. I have shitloads of steps to go. I'm already on this journey for 2 years, guys, but that's because I'm on 2 different medications. But anyway, and because I have so many steps to go, I am reducing every 14 days. And so far it's been working okay, but I do get quite a lot of brain zaps. But it's nothing compared to when I went down another pallet, 12.5 milligrams. With this one, I got the worst headaches I had in my life. So I went up quite quickly, and I went back to my doctor and had him prescribe me these tiny beads. Okay, guys, yeah, so this is what my little basket looks like with all my different doses. I got these little ones here at the Euro store in the haberdashery section. These are quite useful. And yeah, that's it, guys. I hope that I was able to help you a little bit to make the tapering easier, and I shall see you in my next video. Thank you. Lastly, I cannot recommend the site innercompass.org enough. It is super comprehensive and much more detailed than any video can ever be. I also found survivingantidepressants.org a really helpful read. I will put both links under this video. And I will also put my taper steps below this video, but please remember you might have been on a different dose to start with and are using different meds, then your taper steps will look differently. So that's it for now. If you have any questions, please get in touch. But remember, I'm not a medical professional. All of the advice is based on my own experience as someone who's been on antidepressants for a very long time. Until then, see you later and bye for now.